On today's show, Cooper Flagg shows us more of the same. He's going to be great. He's going to be fine. The connector that we all want for this Dallas Mavericks team. But do we have more questions than answers for the Mavericks? Yes, I'll tell you why. Today's Locked On Mavs.
This is Cooper Flagg, and you're listening to Locked On Mavs.
Zone 5.
Explain yourself.
All these changes, I still got my dog Dwight Powell.
You are Locked On Mavs, your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Still can't leave
Your team every day.
I'm going to get a city like that.
And welcome. You're Locked On to the Dallas Mavericks, your team every day. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member covering the Mavs for 10 years. Thanks for being every day or making Locked On Mavs your first listen each and every day and making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network out there. Appreciate you for checking out the show. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. If you're a new customer, put down $5 and you get $300 in bonus bets if that first bet wins on the FanDuel app at FanDuel.com. Joining me, as always, the post-game prodigy from the Great Slightly Biased YouTube channel, the fan jam enjoyer, the One More Thing King. What you got for me, Slightly Biased?
I had a great 20 minutes of fan jam last night.
Great 20 minutes.
Incredible experience. It was free, though. I regret tweeting anything about it because then people were like, this team hates its fans. I'm like, all right, dude. It's a literal
yeah,
free
everybody that didn't go.
Yeah, like it's okay. I agree. It should have been longer, but I mean.
Oh man, I went to a brewery today for a friend's birthday party. Ran into a Raccoon Squad member, ran into a listener, and he was, it was great. It was great talking to him. And then he goes, "Hey man, I saw this guy. He looked like a little disheveled, long hair. Was that Slightly that was here earlier?" It was not.
Disheveled.
It was not Slightly.
Disheveled. No. I'm looking shoveled all the time.
100% correct.
I'm properly shoveled.
Today's fully shoveled. Today's episode, we're going to get into the Mavs game against the Hornets in preseason and how Anthony Davis looked, which was not that great. What does that mean for the Mavs defense? Do we care about that? We'll talk about the Mavs rotations because we saw a little bit more about from the starters going into the third quarter. Well, let's start here talking about Cooper Flagg because I thought we saw more of the same from the first preseason game, and this one was at least against starters and second-string players in the NBA, and maybe they're from the Charlotte Hornets, and maybe they only won like 19 games last year, but we saw from Cooper Flagg what we're going to see in the NBA. We saw him be able to do a lot of different things, and he's going to be able to do a lot of different things for this Mavericks team. We saw the pull-up jumpers go down again, which I think is a really good sign for him going forward, especially him being able to create his own shot, eventually becoming a #1 on an NBA roster in 2 or 3 years or something like that. But even just now when the Mavs are going to need somebody to create offense, we saw him get out and transition and run, not only to catch that lob from D'Angelo Russell that was awesome, absolutely awesome from half court. D'Angelo Russell threw that, but also Cooper Flagg running the break and leading the fast break and getting out there and throwing some passes and some dimes and some absolute great passes. We saw just a little bit of everything from him. Third quarter, we saw him couple of turnovers. He finished with 5 turnovers total. It's a couple of mistakes that we haven't really seen from him yet. But I think, to me, we've just seen what he can be about. He scores in bunches. He can do a lot of different things. When you ask him and when you put something in front of him, say, hey, go score for us, or hey, go defend this guy, or hey, go get out in transition, or hey, go make this pass, or go react to a double team correctly, he goes and does that.
Yeah, I mean, he looks really good. He just has this. You see it. You see in these plays. I mean, how many steals did he actually get credited for? I think it was 4 total, right?
4. Yeah,
and how many other plays did he have where he tipped the pass out of bounds or tipped a live dribble out of bounds? At least a couple. So he has this game-wrecking upside that obviously we know he has that upside. But I'm saying for this year, I think you're going to see stretches even – I'm so impressed by what we've seen so far in the preseason. I know some other guys have more gaudy stats, but you just see it that he's going to have these moments in games where it's like the 10-minute stretch where he'll get a couple of steals and a few assists and he'll run the floor and get a dunk in transition. Then he'll hit a pull-up 3, and then all of a sudden it's like the Mavs are on this extended run, like exactly what we saw in this game where they've completely shifted the momentum of a game, and Cooper Flagg is the driving force behind that. He's going to do all this stuff as an 18-year-old rookie. It's just, it doesn't not make sense. If this is how Flagg looks going into year 3 or year 2, it's like, all right, we're seeing all these strides. This is year 1, 18-year-old rookie, second preseason game. And some of this stuff is just so encouraging. All of like the defense stuff, cool. I expected all of that. Playmaking, yeah. Whenever you go back, if you went back and watched any Duke game, that jumped out of the page immediately. It's like, oh, this guy's playmaking is as legit as it gets. Like it's that will translate immediately. What is he now? He's hit 3 threes so far. None of them catch and shoot. All of them off dribble. All of them pull up. All of them in rhythm. And then he hit a few tough middies tonight. Those are the shots where it's like, okay. The mid-ranges, like those will be absolutely up and down, especially early on in his career, especially rookie season. If the 3-ball is that good year one, where we're talking like upper 30s and like able to pull up off one dribble and stuff like that in rhythm, that changes that dynamic quite a bit because I'm sure we'll talk about a trio here coming up of him, Lively, and PJ.
For sure.
And if Lively's 3-ball looks that good immediately, then hey, that's a lineup you could feasibly.
Flags.
Not Lively. Love the guy to death. The guy to death, but
we'll hit on that one maybe later.
Well, I don't want to go too hard on Lively because I want him to try and shoot him. But I've been.
Wait, do you think if you go too hard, he'll take less threes?
You never know how social media might impact someone. But it's funny because Lively, I've said I don't care if he shoots threes. I want to be like I do not care if Lively shoots threes. I think he's going to be incredible anyway. And there's some really encouraging Lively stuff. But Flagg, the Flagg 3-ball, if it's real, that allows you to play those uber big lineups because God, he looks really good. He just looks so in control. Even some of his troll turnovers were like that's someone who's comfortable in the game. That's a Ryan Russillo thing.
I was actually more impressed by the balls he didn't turn over.
I was more impressed by the turnovers.
I was more impressed by the turnovers because it was showing that he could do these things. Shout out to the Russillo show. I got a shout out on that show recently.
Really?
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, it was for a Luka tweet, of course.
Oh, nice.
But Cooper Flagg, the consistency I think we've seen from an 18-year-old. Like that's the thing. We're about to talk about Anthony Davis a little bit here, and we're about to be pretty critical of him. But we're holding Anthony Davis to the top 10 player, top 15 player in the NBA level. You're holding Cooper Flagg to what does an 18-year-old in his first year in the NBA look like? And what is he expected to do? And what is he supposed to be able to do as an 18-year-old? And what is he doing right now? And like what we are seeing him do right now against some NBA competition now is like do all the things that we thought he could do. And like if he is that, which is honestly slightly like it's a high-end starter for the Mavericks. Right? Like the Mavs added a high-end starter, at least for this season. Like you expect him to eventually be an all-star and an all-NBA, but if you just get a high-end starter that we've seen these last couple of games, like that is super encouraging, and we're right in what we said all summer, is that the Mavs added the best player they could possibly have added in Cooper Flagg, like for this season, because they get a high-end starter out of it, and that's what we've seen.
Yeah. And I don't think, I'm not putting, because the better he plays, it's like, can he be an all-star year one? I was listening to Bill Simmons' podcast. I cannot believe what I was hearing. Bill Simmons said he had him originally in his top 20 players. Did you hear this?
Cooper Flagg?
Yes. And he had to get talked out of it. And I'm like, that's an all-star. Like, if you think that's an all-star.
Top 20 is like, that's all NBA, like getting close.
Yeah, like that's an all-star. I don't think he'll have the stats for it, right? But
no.
If you think that if you're like super bullish on him and you're like, no, he's going to be exactly what we want him to be and then some, top 20, top 25 impact player, like when you sit down at the end of the year and maybe some of the impact metrics, maybe some of this when you factor in defense and, the Amen Thompson, where it's just like, was Amen Thompson like a top 25 most impactful player in the league last year? Even though you wouldn't really say he was a top 25 player.
Who's a top 25 player that is less impactful than they are on the number, like their list, like, you know what I mean? Like they're top 25 player, but they're not top 25 impact.
Oh, I can think of some off the top of my head.
Give me one. Just give me one.
Sabonis.
You know that the Mavs want to use AD as the Sabonis hub in their.
It's crazy. We have not seen a second of that.
We really haven't.
It's been Lively has been more that.
Yes, we've seen Lively as the hub at the top of the key running DHOs, but we have not seen AD like that. Maybe it's because they're like, let's try and run them off the scent and run the teams off the scent of us doing this.
Maybe.
Or maybe there's other reasons, but we did see an extended stretch from some of the Mavs' actual rotation players. We saw Cooper Flagg, Lively, and PJ Washington play some really, really good minutes in this one. Should that be the starting lineup going forward, or should that be the lineup that Kidd relies on more? We'll talk about that coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. All you have to do is go to Prize Picks, see what is available for you, and go check it out right now. They have NBA stuff, they have NFL stuff all the time, and right now you can go check out more or less on projections like Josh Allen passing yards, Saquon Barkley rushing for a touchdown. You can combine that with NBA stuff as well. So if you're one of those people that has like multiple screens, like our old friend Reggie Atatula is always like multiple screen watching and watching like multiple sports. Like he would be at Mavs games and watch like an F1 race, and then he'd be watching like tennis, and then he'd be watching the game. You have all these screens going at once. If you're like that, you want to hang out with Prize Picks because they have some fun stuff for you. You can do all kinds of different stuff. You can stack. So if you ride with a player, you can select pass yards, rush yards, and touchdowns all in one lineup, which is awesome. Download the Prize Picks app today and use that code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 in lineups. So if you play your first $5 lineup, that's code LOCKEDONNBA for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad, listening every day. We call our listeners the Raccoon Squad. I like it when somebody comes up to me and they just go, Raccoon Squad? What an unhinged thing to say to somebody in public.
Yeah.
But I love it. I appreciate it. So shout out to all of them. Check the QR code and the links in the description for different ways to follow the show. We got social media accounts, Instagram, Twitter, all of that. And then we also have the text line where you can get texts from me and Isaac on games and stuff like that. We're sending you notes all throughout it. Go check out Slightly Biased' great YouTube channel. All kinds of stuff happening over there. All right, Slightly, we're talking about the Mavs preseason game, and one of the things that I thought popped in this game was the Lively, PJ Washington, and Cooper Flagg lineup, where we saw there's some switching there, there's some energy there, there's some rebounding, there's being able to push in transition, and it's all things that you kind of hoped that an Anthony Davis lineup would give you with that. But why do you think it looks so different with PJ Washington as opposed to Anthony Davis?
Well, I think there's a couple different things. I think, that lineup is going up against other teams' backup lineup.
And the Charlotte backup lineup is not good. They're missing our boys Grant Williams and Josh Green, but that backup lineup was not good.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Charlotte Hornets. Although I was having this argument in my chat. I was like, if LaMelo and Brandon Miller are healthy, people are like, that team's not winning 25 games. I'm like, if those two are healthy, that team's winning way over 25 games. I promise.
At least 25 games.
That's a borderline playing team if those two are healthy. I mean, just being real with you, the East is that bad.
We did our Locked On East preview, and I was like, oh my gosh, this conference is garbage.
Yeah.
The end of it is just awful.
Yeah. So that's part of it, but also it's just that group is so athletic. It's just so athletic. With PJ Flagg and Lively. Like, PJ's the least athletic guy of those three, and he's still a fantastic athlete, And it's just so much versatile, switchable size. And it's a really exciting thing to think about, whether that's, hey, could this be a starting group? But more so like, okay, hopefully the coaching staff sees what everyone else sees, and I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
And it's like we can stagger this in a way to where it's like, this lineup is on the floor for 15 or so minutes a game. It's like whenever we rest AD or we rest somebody else, like that trio is on the floor in those spurts.
It's going to end up being like there's going to be an old man lineup and like a young guys lineup. You know what I mean? Like they're going to eventually put Max Christie with this group, and then the group with AD is going to be like Gaff, AD, Klay Thompson, D'Angelo Russell, and then like maybe Caleb Martin. It's going to be the old man lineup, and then it's going to be the young guys lineup, and the difference between the two is going to be interesting.
Yeah,
I also think that the lineup pops because of what we're going to talk about here. Is that I thought Anthony Davis did not put a lot of effort into this game. There was moments where he wasn't even lined up to rebound free throws, and the Mavs got Brandon Miller I thought got like a rebound off a free throw, and you go and a putback, and you go, oh, if Anthony Davis is in there, then that's different. Like that doesn't happen. And I don't want to come out and say, all right, well, Anthony Davis, come out and show me all the effort, give 110% in preseason. But we just didn't see it. And so I'm not even really upset about it. I just wanted to point it out that we didn't really see a lot of effort from Anthony Davis in this game. Was not a particularly good game from him. And he had some great jumpers in the third quarter, had some great looking shots, great looking offense where you just say, here's where his offense is going to come from, which I think is important. But it wasn't the best Anthony Davis game. Maybe he's slow rolling it, ramping up into this preseason. And honestly, I think I'm fine with it. I'm not so worried about him. If he's going to come back and show effort, is he going to do that? Is he going to show effort for this team? I expect that he will.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this a few days ago about the pictures of him where he looked a little bit out of shape and what he said about his weight. And look, we're still 10 plus days away from the regular season. Yeah, I mean, if this is the effort level you get in a regular season game and stuff like that, yeah, for sure, that's time for conversations and for concern. But yeah, I mean, just some crazy things being said about a preseason game. I mean, it is what it is. Like, obviously, I agree with you. I don't think his effort was good at all tonight, and that was apparent and obvious.
Yeah,
but it's a preseason game, man. I don't know, really.
It's like, that's what it is. I think that lineup popped because the one with AD didn't, because AD didn't put as much effort. Like, he wasn't running down the floor, wasn't getting back, he was getting beat. Like, Miles Bridges had like 18 points on him in the first half because he wasn't. I don't think he was getting
they were hitting some threes.
They were hitting some threes. We'll talk about the defense and the decisions that the team made for sure. But I mean, he jogged into fouling a guy at the 3-point line, and that was. I mean, that was a brutal play too.
Yeah, I mean, again, if this is, or if it's early season and we're still seeing these, then yeah, that is where it's like, all right, dude, like what you can't be coming into the season like this, especially you. But yeah, I'll just reserve judgment until then. But I do think beyond that, the Lively PJ Flagg trio definitely has real legitimate, there's something serious there. And I don't, even if you just want to take a look at it from like a macro perspective, like that's a relatively young, obviously Lively and Cooper young. And what's PJ, like 26?
27,
like he's still, he's still pretty young and under contract. Like that's a trio right there where you're like, yo, in a few years, depending on how these things work out, like that could be a starting front court for us. That's like, we're trying to be really, really good. Like, and maybe AD's retired or moved on, or Kyrie's retired or moved on. I'm not saying like trade those guys. That's not even what I'm saying. But I'm saying like you're just on the different phase now. That could be your starting front court, and I can imagine it being very good.
Maybe AD's like the 2006 version of Alonzo Mourning, like coming off the bench.
Yeah, maybe
That'd be sick.
I can't imagine that, but that would be I saw some people were like, should AD come off the bench? I'm like, yeah, see how that, let's see.
Yeah, let's have a top 20 player for sure. A top 20 for sure player coming off the bench.
Yeah, let me be a fly on the wall in that meeting.
And that's the thing that I want to point out. You said that Mavs fans are saying some crazy things about this game. Yes, you did not see top 15 in the NBA version of Anthony Davis tonight, right? Like,
no, definitely not.
You didn't see that, and so you can't put expectations on him.
If this is the AD you get, which would be far and away the worst Anthony Davis has ever been in the history of his career by a million miles, if that's who you get, who we saw tonight consistently, then yeah, obviously the Mavericks are in a lot of...
Then everything sucks.
Yeah, the Mavericks are in a lot of trouble. I agree with all of you.
If they get that version of Cooper Flagg, it might have to be a top 20 player.
Immediately. It's funny because earlier today, I was like, when Cooper was looking good, I was like, would it be a good thing or a horrible thing if Cooper Flagg is the best player on the Mavericks? I can't decide.
I don't know, but I just wanted to point that out, and I'm not going to talk more about Anthony Davis because it is what it is, and we'll see when we get full tilt Anthony Davis, and that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's a no-win thing right now because people are going to be mad that we didn't talk about it enough and blast them. And then people will be mad that we did last.
They're gonna be mad. We did talk about it. It's fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
The Mavs defense, though, I do want to talk about. The Charlotte started 7 of 9 from 3. One of them got turned back into a 2, but it was basically 7 of 9 3-point type shots, like wide open shots that the Hornets got. The Mavs defense. Remember, the Mavs defense used to be predicated on, all right, everyone has to rotate. You all have to rotate because we don't have enough rim protection. Actually, we have no rim protection. We don't want that. Everyone's got to rotate, be in the right spot. And they just all have to work together in that way. That was the Mavericks defense for years. The Mavs defense now is the guys that have to rotate are the 2 guards. The D'Angelo Russell, Klay Thompson have to rotate in the right spots. And if they're not getting to those right spots, or if one of those bigs isn't sliding over to the rim to defend it right, like then all of a sudden you have issues. And the Mavs allowed a bunch of open threes. And we saw 50 get taken by the Thunder's third string in that first game, and we saw the start that the Hornets got. Like, I'm starting to get concerned about this 3-point defense. Or did we see enough changes from the lineup that came in after those guys? Because all of a sudden, it felt like all of a sudden they put in Max Christie, Naji Marshall, and PJ Washington, and all of a sudden the 3-point defense got fixed. It was like, is that just it? Is it just like having faster guys on the perimeter?
And I think that's part of it, having a little bit more athletes. I also thought there was a few times where there was just miscommunication on rotations that will get ironed out over the course of time. But yeah, I think, they'll learn over the course of the year where it's just like, maybe we're over rotating a little bit. Like, we have such great rim protection that maybe we don't need to be, helping off of these shooters as hard as we are, right? But so I think there'll be a bit of that. And also the Hornets, some of those threes are a little bit crazy. And that's going to happen in the NBA from time to time. But the thing I will say that I've noticed the most is like, we saw the Thunder were hitting skip passes out to the opposite wing and to the opposite corner quite a bit. And then the Hornets were doing that as well tonight. So I'm thinking that's probably a point of emphasis for coaching staffs. Obviously, the skip pass to the three, just league-wide, has become a much more popular thing. But with how the Mavs rotate down and stuff to protect the rim, that's going to be an area they're vulnerable. So it's also the guards, the guards rotating out, but also the bigs who help rotate down to block shots. Whoever's on the help side is going to have to be committed to sprinting back out. And I thought AD led a few of those corner threes.
Sure. Right.
We didn't get out to in quick enough time. But those guys are going to have to be active in their closeouts. So that'll be interesting to see. I mean, that absolutely is, especially early season, a huge thing to watch. I would say is how many threes are the Mavericks giving up and how many are they living with? Because there's a difference. There's a difference.
And then on the other side, how many are they taking? Is it just going to be a math problem for the Mavericks all season where we go, all right, they're allowing 39 threes to be taken. They're only taking 27. This is a problem the Mavericks had last year at the end of the season. Is they just got beat by the math problem a lot. And that is a big thing in the NBA right now because guys can get really, really hot. And the team can hit 7 of 9 with multiple guys taking threes because there's so many good three-point shooters in the NBA right now. Something we're watching. I'm not completely concerned about it yet. Like you said, a lot of lapses, some of it effort. That's fine in a preseason game. Not super worried about it yet, but definitely something I'm keeping my eye on.
Yeah.
Coming up, what do we see from some of the other guys? We saw Dennis. We saw Max Christie play some up and down minutes. What do we see from them? Let's get into all that and who didn't play on today's Locked On Mavs. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook has all kinds of props and odds. You can get into the action. NFL season is here, and it is Sunday if you're listening to this on a Sunday. They have all kinds of offers and things that you don't want to miss. New customers can bet $5, and if you win, you get $300 in bonus bets to use on anything else, NFL or whatever else. Go check out FanDuel. See what is available for you in your area. All kinds of great stuff on there. And while you're there, go check out some of the Mavs odds. The Mavs have a couple of things here and there. Obviously, Cooper Flagg is the favorite to win the Rookie of the Year still. What's he at right now? What did he minus 220? Trey Johnson plus 1,000. Ace Bailey plus 1,100. That's if you're like, let me do a happiness hedge on this. Maybe Ace Bailey plus 1,100 is the one that you want to look at. So go check that out. See what is available for you. And what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com. Download the FanDuel app today and get started at FanDuel.com. Please gamble responsibly. We're also brought to you by Quo. It's formerly known as Open Phone. One of the tools to help makes huge difference for small businesses is Quo, because you own a small business. You can't be available 24/7, but Quo can because they have these AI agents that help answer phone calls after hours, or you can set up a shared inbox. So it's not an AI bot. It's somebody that you decide is answering your calls every day, which is awesome. You need a phone system that keeps you connected 24/7, and Quo can help you do that. All kinds of great stuff on it. If you're juggling a whole bunch of other things, you don't have to carry multiple phones either. It works on an app on your computer or on your phone, so that is helpful as well. See why over 90,000 businesses trust Quo, formerly called Open Phone. Get started free and get 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/LockedOnNBA. That's QUO.com/LockedOnNBA. If you got existing numbers with another service, Quo will port them over at no extra charge. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad. We appreciate you for checking out the show. All right, Slightly. We're talking about the Mavs game against the Hornets in preseason, and we talked about Cooper Flagg. We talked about Anthony Davis. We talked about Dereck Lively, but we did not talk about Dereck Lively's three-point shot. Dereck Lively took a three-point shot, top of the key, right there. And let me tell you, the Mavs have one of the most unique things in the NBA. I've been to a lot of arenas at this point in my career, and the Mavs have these rim mics that anytime a player takes a shot, all of a sudden you could hear the ball hit the rim like immediately. And it is one of the things that I love about the AAC is that you can hear the ball hit the rim, because with a really nice shot, the swish of the net sounds awesome. The rattle of the rim sounds awesome when one rattles around and finally goes down. A dunk sounds insane. You can hear guys scream a little bit better in the rim mic. And this happens because literally there's a person on a soundboard sitting there holding the little fader and pushing it back and forth to turn the volume on and turn the volume off of these rim mics so that it doesn't catch every single thing said around the rim, basically. And when Lively took that shot, how do you not just turn it down? How do you not, if you're the guy, how do you not just sit there and turn it down? Because it made the loudest clunk I think I've ever heard in the American Airlines Center after he missed that shot. But you're not concerned about Lively missing a three?
No, I'm not concerned at all.
As badly as it was?
I mean, I guess if you actually thought he was going to be a three-point shooter, maybe you'd be a little bit concerned. I'm not the Lively three-point thing. I don't care about. I've never really been much of a believer in it, to be honest with you. But I'm also someone who I don't think he needs it to be incredible. Like, I don't at all. And I thought he was really good tonight. So I mean, if you're someone who's like, no, he's going to shoot threes, then yeah, maybe it's like, okay, wow. That might not be a thing. Because I will say, at Fan Jam, he shot a lot of threes too, and none of them were that close. But it was Fan Jam.
Well, at Fan Jam, he also threw the ball off the ground, bounced it really high, and dunked it himself. So I'm not really taking
He doesn't even leave the ground to dunk, really. So if you were to tell me he's 7'4",
because he is actually 7'3" now.
Yeah, I'm pretty bought in on that.
He is. You can see it. There's the picture of him standing next to AD. I've stood next to him. Like, he is that tall for sure.
Yeah. So
which is awesome. But the only thing I care about with the threes, get some of these out of the way. Especially in preseason, I would like to see that. I would like to see the three because I think they're going to need the spacing really badly in this starting lineup eventually. So I would just like to see a couple here and there. So get these out of your system, Lively.
I guess my thing is I don't know how many he'd have to shoot to be someone defenses even care about as a shooter.
Yeah, but what if he makes a couple in a game? You know, like that could just change the tide of a quarter.
I mean, you got guys like, I would say like Nurkic and Valanciunas, who in their careers have been like 3-point shooters at least, like somewhat. I mean, Valanciunas had a year where he was like damn near leading in 3-point percentage, I remember, for a tiny bit. And still defenses would be like, you know what? You can take that. We're okay. Like, we're okay with you shooting that. So I'm saying I don't know if it's even possible for Lively to reach the point where it's like, all right, defenses actually have to get out on that now.
Well, could it happen in 2 years? You know,
yeah, maybe in a few years.
Let's start it now. I mean, right when the Flagg, PJ, and Lively lineup is the one that is like leading the way. I guess
if it's 1 or 2 a game, whatever, I don't care. If it is like what he was saying, where he's like, yeah, maybe 4 or 5 or whatever it was, it's like, okay.
Didn't Kid say that? It wasn't Lively, right?
I think he said something like that. Was that last year? Maybe I don't remember. It's like, okay, maybe
it was probably Cuban.
Tone down that rhetoric right there. But the most encouraging Lively thing, though, he had a couple jump hooks. The touch has just progressively gotten much better.
I'm glad you pointed that out. He had 2 jump hooks in the third quarter, about the 6-minute mark, and both of them in a row, and looked great. And that is the thing, like you said, is the thing that should be the most important about his offensive game for us right now, is that you've got to be able to take advantage of a mismatch. If the Mavs are going to have all these bigs, there's going to be a couple smalls on them every once in a while, and you've got to be able to take advantage of it. That's one of the reasons why playing multiple big guys helps and is working for other teams, because you can take advantage of that matchup. And so for him to be able to do that, I thought it was great. His touch looked really great and looked really confident taking some of those, because the second one, it was like he caught the ball, turned around, and he was like fading backwards and hooked it in. It wasn't like he was stop, feet set, turn around, like no other motion in his body, right? Like he was falling away, which I think shows confidence.
Yeah, and he blocked the jump hook.
He also blocked a Colin Sexton drive to the rim where Colin Sexton threw the ball and it only went like a foot out of his hand. And it was already coming back down. Like, I don't even know if we should count that one a block, but that was the one he like volleyball spiked into the baseline. The
replay on that was hilarious because you could just see in Colin Sexton's face, he was just like, yeah, this is getting swatted to Kingdom Come. This has no shot.
Oh, we didn't talk about Flagg and had a pick and roll alley-oop with Anthony Davis early in the game. That made me excited. I had some good feelings about that.
Well, I didn't talk about that because the broadcast was in the middle of a replay. So
you didn't even see it.
They replayed it later and it looked good. And Flagg caught a half-court lob. I think you did mention that.
I mentioned that at the top, but you can mention it again because that also made me feel things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not comparing the players. Like, I'm not doing what they. Your best young player being like a dunker is fun. It's a newer thing.
Luka used the dunk.
Yeah, Luka would dunk. Luka was more of a step back.
Remember that dunk against Denver?
Yell in your face.
Remember that dunk against Denver to win the game?
Oh yeah, yeah. Remember the dunk on Drew? He had some posters. You're like, what just happened?
Dennis almost had a dunk in Fan Jam that was absolutely wild. And Anthony Davis, I was sitting right behind him, and Anthony Davis goes, "You're too old to put that one down."
Dennis Jr. being old is disgusting to me.
I know. Can we talk about Fan Jam for a second? Because I said that we were going to do a video afterwards, and we decided not to because the Mavs only played for like 15 minutes.
It would have been the stupidest thing in the world to talk about that in any capacity.
I had all my stuff ready to go, and then when they finished, like the Mavs came out. I think the Mavs were on the court and then off the court in 25 real-time minutes.
Yeah, seriously. It lasted 30 minutes. I will say my one takeaway actually from it is, I mean, not that surprising, but the loudest ovation by a mile was Kyrie Irving. And it wasn't even close.
It was.
Like, it was the crowd, like, they were, yeah, Cooper Flagg, everyone was loud. Obviously, Klay, everyone was loud. Kyrie, everyone who was sitting stood up. Like, it was thunderous.
He resonates.
Yeah, I mean,
he resonates. He was on that. He was one of the faces of that team that went to the finals. I think that matters to people, and the fact that he stayed after Luka was traded, I think matters to people too.
Well, I also just think Kyrie's one of the most
just beloved,
most famous players.
I said this week because I saw somebody post that you guys are overrating Kyrie at this point. Blah blah blah. He's this player that's never made first team All NBA or whatever, and I was like, Kyrie is one of these players that is just a beloved figure. He's in the Iverson realm to me of beloved figure, has had some insanely great moments, and played a brand of basketball that just people love.
Who overrates Kyrie? I don't know. I see people say this all the time too, and I'm like,
well, it depends on where you rate him, right?
I guess,
I'm not saying he's top 25 all time, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean he's a fantastic. He's one of the best Robins in the history of the game.
We finally got to see Dennis Smith Jr. in this game. He only played 6 minutes at the end of it. Looked a little slow to me, but I mean he's just getting back in after he was out for a little bit.
You think this was it?
Did not encourage me that he only came in the last 6 minutes though from Jason Kidd.
I'm wondering, do you think this was their dress rehearsal game almost?
Well, they got two more. They got the Lakers game and they got a Jazz game. I
know, but I'm wondering if it's just this was our starters played 3 quarters, and now Dennis, you'll get 25 minutes on Monday night.
He could. He's also been out with an injury, so I don't know exactly what his ramp up time looks like. We did not see Caleb Martin still. We did not see Brandon Williams still. We did not see Dante Exum still. Jason Kidd before the game said that he's dealing with a knee thing, with knee inflammation or something like that, and that's not encouraging to me. I'm at this point basically writing off Dante Exum to be a contributor on the team consistently.
I'd have to ask our cap guys. Shout out Mavs CBA if there is
I did this yesterday.
Could they cut him or no?
I said the exact same thing. I was like, I said this yesterday and I was incorrect about it. They can't waive and stretch him. That date's already passed. I forgot that. So they can't do that. They could trade him. They could waive Brandon Williams because his contract's non-guaranteed. I don't know if I don't think his date has gone and passed yet. And so I think those are your options, is to trade him or to waive Brandon Williams. I think those are the two options. Or to trade somebody else. They could trade Hardy. Because Hardy's not making a case for himself right now at all.
It's hard not to be hypocritical because we're like, AD, it's preseason, whatever.
Well, no, we're not hypocritical. We're talking about one of the top 20 players in the NBA for sure.
Right.
And we're talking about a player
for a roster spot.
Yeah, a player that's fighting for a roster spot in rotation minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know really what to say about Hardy. That doesn't sound like piling on at this point, but it's just not. It hasn't been encouraging.
And that's why the Mavs tried to trade him and couldn't find a trade for him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know.
But
it's the foul. You want to know it's the fouling. It is.
He has fouled
the 3-point shooter again
on every game I think I've watched of his in the last 2 years.
Didn't we look at this? He had one of the highest foul rates on 3-point shooters last year. There was a stat that had that information.
I hate that because I hope so. I hope so much better for him. Right, seems like such a good kid.
I know.
Always joyful, always smiling, always he has the best laugh. I should have the laugh still on the soundboard because it is amazing. But yeah,
it's an important time in his career because this is year 4. I mean, he's got a contract at least for him, right? He signed a contract.
He's made some money. He made $18 million.
So, but I mean, this is a big one because there's going to be some opportunity now with Exum out for sure. There'll be some guard minutes that need to get filled, and I'd say that's actually become a concern a little bit because. Exum I thought was pretty nicely, kind of nicely fit the identity of this team.
Yeah.
And now, I'll pencil Exum in for 0 games. That wouldn't surprise me. I love the dude. I think he's a great player, and I hate the injuries have done this to him. But
you love him.
I do. I think he's a really good NBA player. He plays really hard. He plays a nice brand of basketball. I'm in love with him.
just hanging out, just looking deeply into those Aussie eyes.
Yep.
Go check out Slightly Biased, great YouTube channel, all kinds of stuff there. We'll be back with more stuff from Locked On Mavs tomorrow, breaking down the Mavs going into the season. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs. Peace out. Boom.
Season's over, man.
The court's coming up, putting the ice down as we speak.
Oh, yeah.